You are now entering the Thick Goddess Energy Morning Show. We in the building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuted my pain in that cleanse in the rain. Found out I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became. Good morning, good morning, good morning. While the notifications are going out, this is your Thick Goddess Energy Morning Show. I am your host, Ariana, aka Divine Moon Goddess, and this morning show is brought to you by Divine Moon Goddess Healers and Readings.com, where all of your questions get answered. Now, remember, for the month of February, we're still doing a special 25% off all services. Should you go to checkout with the code Knowledge444, that is in the description if you forget it. It's in the description if you want to get an in-depth reading or go into your life, get a plan, spiritual plan. I do spiritual coaching as well as twin flame coaching, as well as shadow work coaching. So if you want to get some more help, if you want to have someone kind of helping you along, definitely go to the website, use code Knowledge444. In the month of February, 25% off. March, there will be a different code, of course, because I always try to do something every month. But I don't know what the hell it will be next month. Right now, all the classes are more than half off because they're not live. I'm not doing any live classes right now. I don't have a date for the live classes. You guys know I teach tarot, I teach mediumship and spiritual development. I also have a chakra class, and I have a zodiac class and a chakra yoga class. I think I'm forgetting one, but whatever. And right now I'm holding off on putting any more classes because until I get the new platform. I don't want to implement any more new classes until we get to the next platform. So those classes are what I got, but they're under the shop. They're not under services if you were looking for them. Good morning, Debbie. You know what? I actually got some sleep last night. I made myself go to bed pretty early. Like 12 a.m. is really early for me. Good morning, Facebook user. So I think that is pretty much the announcements. Good morning, Sasha. Other than that, nope, I think that's pretty much it. Good morning, Melissa. Hopefully everybody's doing good. It's hump day. Did you guys get to see yesterday's show? I know you guys like when I'm live, but if they're pre-recorded, don't miss them either. If you miss the shows, you guys can always go on my YouTube channel, okay? My YouTube channel has a playlist with all of them. You guys know we're on like episode 75 and shit. 75 fucking morning show episodes. Well, damn. So if you miss it, you actually can go back and watch them. I've had some really cool guests. I've had some really cool co-hosts on the morning show, and we've had some awesome everyday topics. They're not just spiritual topics, they're everyday topics. Excuse the loud child in the back screaming. The doggy, she's my kid. So we've had some awesome topics. Aries. Good morning, repping from Chicago. First timer. Well, hey. I know my bride's in the back because she wants her walk. It's past her walk time. So she's yelling at my daughter. That's how you know my dog is spoiled. That's how you know you have a fucking spoiled ass dog. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. So today, I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Today, Aries. Today we are talking about healing. Do you need to heal? Do you really need to heal? Because, a lot of people, even myself included, I'm going to talk about myself. Hey, Nikki, good morning. I know, I know. I know lives are better. You get to interact with me when I'm on the show, but sometimes my guest can't be here in the morning. You know, I'm not sure who this is in the tribe, but good morning, boo. Um, yeah, my dog. She wants what she wants. She's an Aries. My dog is an Aries also. Her name is Aries, and she's a fucking Aries. She's an asshole. Let's just be real. She's a fucking asshole. She's in the right house though. We're all assholes here. So she kind of just blends in. But she's an asshole and she's spoiled. So go figure. Um Go figure. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I can't see you guys in the tribe because it says Facebook user, you know. Good morning, Stacy. Let's get back to what I was saying, right? I get so sidetracked. Um, do you need to heal? Do you guys think that you need to heal? I went through 30 something years of my life thinking I was good. I think I was like 30, 37, 38, thinking I was good. I moved past it. That's what we tell ourselves. I moved past it. It's just a part of life, right? It happened. It sucked, you know. But when you look at your life and you look at your surroundings, and no matter how old you are, you start looking at your connections. Are they healthy connections? Or are they toxic connections? Are they hurtful connections? Are they demeaning connections? You got to start looking at that around you. No, no, Aries are assholes. I raised one. I raised an Aries. She's an Aries. She's an asshole. And she's spoiled. And she's 24, almost 25. She's an asshole. But she gets it from me because I'm an asshole too. It's okay. Good morning, Renee. So, if you're going through life and you've had trauma or whatever, and you know that you haven't had any formal kind of like grief counseling, you haven't done anything, right? See, everybody agrees. Be proud of your assholism. Okay, Aries. Um, if you haven't done anything and you've had some traumatic stuff happen to you, you're not healed. No matter how you see it, you're not healed. You're just not. You got this shit down here. You're fucking closed off, right? Um, and then a biggest thing is myself included started to look around the people I was around. Why is everybody single and miserable? Why is everybody hurting? Why is everybody getting into these fucked up relationships? Why is it that everyone I know is not happy? So you start to look around and you start to see the mirror effect of where you're at in your energy. Or you don't. It's one or the other. You do or you don't, right? Been healing for the past 4 years on a broken marriage, which was a soul connection. I've tried to heal from childhood traumas. Now it's tough. It is tough. And I'm not saying it's easy. I've been healing for over 3 years. I started healing in 2018 is when I really started to feel like I needed to do something. I was tired of being tired. And I was tired of being in this energy of just, I'm happy 1 minute, sad the fucking next, irritated the next. Like I just was tired. I was at a point where I was tired, and I was also tired of doing more for everyone else than what they did for me. So I kind of started to realize in 2018, which is my late 30s, that I was doing way more for everyone else, my kids, my family, friends, and I wasn't doing enough for myself. So it made me start to realize I needed to heal. I needed to change. And then my mom had a very event with her heart and stuff that made me start to feel like I needed to step up for the family also. So at the same time of me feeling like I needed to heal, I also felt like I had to step up in a certain way that I didn't want to, in because of our background. So there was a lot going on in 2018 that just made me feel like I wanted to do something different. I wanted to change. And then I remember my niece at the, I think the end of 2018, or was it the beginning of 2019? I can't remember. She had got a tarot deck, that, my daughter and her started to go to the spiritual store. I didn't start going to the spiritual store until like 2019, like early 2019. Um, but my daughters, I think they started going like at the end of 2018. And she got a tarot deck, and I let her do this, past, present, and future reading on me. And it was spot on, 3 cards. And the past was a bunch of hurt and fucking pain. Presence, present was my closed off ass self, and future was the Queen of Swords sitting by herself. And I didn't know what the Queen of Swords meant, but the Queen of Swords is someone who's been hurt, someone who's been through some shit. She's closed off most of the time. Um, Not saying every Queen of Swords or the tarot is that, but generally that's what she is. She is, the person who's either the divorcee, or someone, she could be, someone who's lost someone, the widow. So Queen of Swords, and it was just like, I don't want to be the Queen of Swords. You know what I mean? When I started to realize what the Queen of Swords meant, which I didn't at the time, I was just like, damn, why I gotta be so cold? Like, why I gotta be so cold? Yeah, my daughter does that. Well, she doesn't do it anymore. She's kind of worked through stop shutting down and expressing herself. We've kind of worked through that with her. I've been healing for years now. I'm in trauma therapy and it's hard, but shadow is serious. Gotta heal. Oh yeah, the shadow is real. Shadow ain't going nowhere either. I just broke away, started reading up on things, absorbing the new me. I am at the beginning of my new journey. Awesome. Hi, what kind of reading do you do, please? Do you do playing cards? I don't do playing cards. I don't do playing cards, although I could. I mean, generally, the tarot has 56 cards that are the playing cards, right? But I actually don't do the playing cards. But it is one of the things that I wasn't even spiritual yet. I just knew that I needed to change. So when you start to look at your circle, you start to look at the people. What are the conversations? Are they drama? Are they constant just bullshit? Are they constant like, oh, my man did this? And you just start to look around like, damn, and you look at your childhood friends, nobody's fucking happy. You just start to see this mirror like, I don't want this. This is in the few people. I could count like 3 people from my childhood that got married, right? And they all fucking unhappy. So I've seen them go through some things. Um, so it was just like, damn, is this life, right? And there was a long period of my life where I told myself I didn't want relationship. I didn't want marriage. If that was what marriage was, I was like, no, fuck that. I don't want marriage. So you just get to a point though where you have to see, if you don't heal and work through some of the stuff you have energetically, look at the people you've called into your life. We always sit and ask, why or where do these people come from? Where the fuck do these crazy people come from? Because I used to ask this question, not realizing that I was just as damaged as the people coming towards me, right? Now that I look back, I can confirm that. I can confirm that I was just as damaged as these people that came towards me. I was just as damaged. The only thing that I was still in a place of giving more than taking. So these people were taking. And when you realize that, then you can kind of take a step back and say, damn, I can tell you I've worked really hard to get into my heart space, which is very different feeling from being closed off and shut down. Like, ain't nobody getting up in her, you know, ain't nobody getting in this place. When you close off your heart, you close off everyone. You're not just closing off bad people. You're closing off the good, the bad, okay? And you're putting this like chain or fucking wall up, right? Good morning, Boo. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Evelyn. You do gotta dig deep, because this is how you know if you're still blaming everybody else. That's one of the things. If you're still blaming everybody else, you're not healed. If it's still everybody else's fault, you're not healed. And if you're just telling yourself, I'm good, but you know you're not, you got to look at some of the things you do. If you're highly anxious, that's not a normal factor that you should just be living with. There's things that bring on anxiety. Talk to any therapist, talk to any doctor. What is the anxiety? What is it coming from? Is it fear, right? Is it worry? Is it because of the trauma you've gone through before? There's things that your body is screaming at you every day. And the sad part is we're not taught to know our bodies. We're taught that the doctor knows our bodies. We don't know our bodies. One of the things, and I don't claim to be a physician, but I do know my body way more than I've ever known my body in my fucking life, okay? Because I've gotten to know. Yeah, I do have a medical background, which it makes it easier to understand some of this shit, but I actually have gotten in tune with my body. My body speaks to me in certain ways in illnesses, which we refer to as illnesses, but it speaks to me so fucking loudly. I can connect the dots when something's going on, right? So you have to start to look at things and get to know your body and your energy physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Where are you on all levels? There's a part of me that realized like a year ago that I was still very emotionally immature and I would lash out emotionally. And it was just like, why the fuck? What is this? I didn't understand that and didn't realize that I was still operating in this hurt child emotions. Okay. um, but if you don't do the work, if you don't sit and understand it, if you don't sit and have these conversations, if you don't be real to yourself and say like, no, damn, I'm not where I think I am. I'm not as good as I think I am. If you still have a tendency to demean somebody else, you're not healed. Nobody who is healed and happy is demeaning somebody else. Nobody healed and happy is looking for someone's flaws to tell them what's wrong with them. You're pumping them up, you're giving them positivity because you feel positive. When you're positive, you give positivity. That's how it fucking works. And I can contest to that because I have become this in my life. I have shifted from a negative space. There's times when my shadow side wants to go back to that negative space, but I shut it down. I don't want to be there. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to stay in a negative space. And I don't want to talk about negative shit. I want to uplift. That's what I came here to fucking do. I came here to motivate. I came here to inspire. And that means myself, right? As well. So it is very hard to get real with yourself. It's very hard to sit in that mirror and fucking own up to your own bullshit. It's so much easier to blame everybody else. It is. One of the hardest things is sitting in your own shit. I'm at one of the toughest points in my whole life with my kids and trying to find a positive in every situation. Right, right. I love it, Renee. Most of it goes down to fear. Most of the things that we process or operate on, most of us are operating on survival mode. Look back at your lives. And I'm not doing messages right now. I'm talking, this is a morning show. Um, Look at your lives. Most of us have been operating on survival mode. We haven't been thriving. We haven't been living. We've been operating in survival mode. Survive, survival mode is what? Fear based. Get down. Aries, down. I swear, you scratch up this screen, we're going to have a problem. So you're operating on survival mode. Survival mode is a place of lack. That is not a thriving energy to be in. One of the things that I have gotten really comfortable in learning is energy, myself as an energy being, not just this physical shell in this reality. So once you start to realize that you're in survivor mode, especially with love also, we've been hurt so much we go into survival mode. We're trying not to be hurt again. But guess what? That leaves no room for love in our lives. That leaves no room, because then you're just operating on someone to come in and show you love. It's not going to fucking happen if you're not love based. You can't call in love if you don't have love in your heart. If you're still angry and pissed and mad and sad, how the fuck are you calling in love? How the fuck are you calling in loving people in your life? You're not. This is why most people understand that when they're on this journey, people start to fall off, friends start to disappear, family members disappear. Why? Because you're not operating on the same level when you start to do this work. You start to change, you start to grow. Conversations just don't feel right anymore. And it's not to say nothing against the people, you still love them, but something's changed and you know it's changed. That's how you know you're healing. When you know that there's certain shit that you used to do, like, damn, I used to do this and I was comfortable with this, but now it doesn't feel right. That's how you know you're healing. If you want, for me, healing is important. My whole practice has been on healing. I've been pushing healing since the fucking get-go. Okay. I've had a lot of readers leave because they didn't believe in that. They didn't believe in that healing. They didn't believe in healing. And they've left in my group. I've seen a lot of people leave because they just did not agree to that. Most people in the tarot world, keep you guys very dependent on them. I'm not about that. I'm about empowerment. I don't need you coming to me forever for readings. I need you to learn how to understand and know and have the knowing and open up your beautiful fucking skills that you were birthed. You were birthed these fucking skills. You were birthed this. This is your birthright to know this shit. I'm not more special than you because I'm sitting on this fucking, platform. A lot of people don't like that shit. A lot of people don't like that because a lot of psychics and mediums and fucking tarot readers won't tell you that shit. They try to keep you dependent on them. That's why healing has always been. In my first year, I started a healing circle because I knew we needed a place for people just to fucking be, to express what they were going through. I knew it deep in my heart. And I pushed for my group to be different because of that. So, when you know that, when you're looking at that, you got to remember healing is very important. But if you don't feel like you need to heal, then don't. But then don't ask why your life is this, your life is that. Don't ask why you're sitting in poverty. Don't ask why you're sitting with shitty fucking friends. Don't ask why you got shitty fucking relationships. Because the thing is, you are the common denominator in everything in your life. And that's what I stand and I believe that. You are the common denominator. Last year around this time, I was looking at things and I was like, what's the common denominator in my life? With every relationship, me, I'm the common denominator. So you have to take that accountability and say, damn, I need to change some shit. Oh, Renee. Hey, Sakori. I just have to be real with you guys because I've never been that tarot reader. I've never wanted you guys to be dependent on me. A lot of people get scared because you're their bread and butter, right? What Spirit has shown me is that I don't have to make you dependent on me to get my bills paid. Spirit has shown me this from the fucking beginning. Spirit has shown me you just show up and you ask every day. You know what I ask? One of my affirmations in the morning when I get up, how many people can I heal today? That's one of my affirmations. How many people can I heal today? And that's what I've done for the past 3 years, is just shown up. And Spirit's like, we got you. Because what they do is they bring who needs me. I don't have to keep you dependent. I don't have to put you in this place of, shit. Be careful out there, you guys. It is. Tarot is a tool, right? But tarot isn't everything. You guys have this beautiful knowing inside. You just don't trust it yet. It took me a minute to come to this place of trust. It took me 3 years. Over 3 years. It wasn't until this January, I have to tell you guys, because I've stand in my seat. I'm very comfortable. I'm very confident. I've been doing this shit for a while. But in my personal life, I've struggled with some of my knowing and some of my gifts and faith and surrendering to this higher power that I can't see, can't feel. I mean, well, I can feel it, but I can't see it, right? This January, I went through this crazy, you would have thought I was on mushrooms trip, right? But I wasn't on mushrooms. It was just me. That made me just realize that I just had to really fully commit to surrender and understand, just truly let go and understand. And it hit me like, damn, it hit me full fledged. Like, damn, okay, okay, spirit. We always have our knowing. I'm always here for you guys should you need me. Should you need me to confirm something? Should you need me to look into something? I got you, you know? But you don't really need me. Most of the time, it is like you already know. You already know the answer. And then the other time of it is we're trying to see too far into the future. We get away from the present. And what Spirit has shown me is to be present now. Stop worrying about what the fuck's going to happen 3 months from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you don't do what's now, right now, what the fuck is the future going to look like? You're too busy worrying about the future that you're not in the present, you know? So these are our birthright gifts that we've been giving. We've been giving this shit from birth, right? We could see shit, experience shit, feel shit when we were babies, but we were conditioned to let it go, that it wasn't real, it was our imagination. You know what? The thing is, you just start, and that's the one of the biggest questions, K plugs, is people are like, where do I start? I don't know. And I tell everyone, I didn't know either. I just knew I needed to start. You know what I started doing? I started lighting candles. I would buy a candle, not all witchy type candles, because I was always a candle person. I've always had candles in my house. Let's be Glade and all that shit, Bed Bath and Beyond. I just started getting these small candles, and they were intention candles, very plain candles at the store, at the spiritual store. And I remember one was about the heart. It was about heart because I knew I was hurting here. This is where I was hurting. More than any space, my heart had been broken and crushed. And I knew this is where I had to start. And I just lit it. And I was just like, I said, the little paper intention that it came with it. And I just lit it. And I remember crying for like 3 fucking days. Like, what the fuck is this? Right, right. Oh, I love it, Debbie. I gotta pop you guys on here so people can see. But the crazy thing is you just fucking start. You know, I tell people all the time, I've gone through traditional therapy. I didn't like that shit. I didn't like it. It didn't fucking help me. I went through one therapist that she just I talked, but I don't feel like she listened, right? Good morning, Marty. Aw, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And then I went to a psychiatrist who just wanted to give me pills. And I didn't like that. And unfortunately, I feel like Western medicine just treats symptoms. It doesn't really get down deep into the core of your soul. What I have found in metaphysical healing or holistic healing, alternative healing, is that you can get down in the core of your soul and you could do some hellified healing. I've healed my 5-year-old self and she's awesome now. Every time I'm doing a fucking meditation, she's chilling, giving everybody sunflowers. Sunflowers is one of my favorite flowers. And whenever we're dealing with the older version of myself, here she comes with the little sunflower, like, here you go, here's a sunflower. And I think that's fucking awesome that I can sit in the meditation and see that shit. It brings joy to my heart just to see it. Aw. I'm just reading. Aw. Exactly. For March, I'm gonna have more healing circles in the group, you guys, just so you know. But they're gonna be in the room, so you really have to pay attention to the date. I'll have a calendar posted in the group. You'll have to pay attention to the date. It'll be certain days at certain times, so you could join. It's myself and one other person, Louisa. If you've seen Louisa in my group, Approved Reader, she's also doing the healing circles. Khadijah was doing them, but she's going to switch to motivational and inspiration, which I absolutely love her for that. So make sure that you guys are paying attention. I will tell you, if you're in my group, really look at the guides. If you have not gotten used to clicking on the tab that says guides, click on the tab that says guides. There's a lot of information in there about the readers, about our group, about our fundraisers, about the classes, about everything, that we pretty much do. So get used to clicking on those guides in there, okay? Um, but when you know that you need to heal, it's just that realizing like, okay, I need to heal, and then you tell spirit. The thing about it, I tell everyone, is fucking set the intention. Ask, who can help me? Most of you guys then come across me. They did not send you my way for no fucking reason, okay? Now, there's certain meditative state guidance I can do. I don't do the deep ones because I'm not certified for any of that, and I won't ever do it on you, like the self hypnosis and stuff like that. But I can take you through some of these shorter meditations to talk to your childhood or your child or see who needs you. I've learned how to do that. I've worked with some phenomenal healers. You guys saw me do a morning show interview with Cynthia Glickman, awesome healer. She taught me how to get in a space with like 3 to 5 minutes and figure out what the fuck was going on with me, and that fucking quickly, and not have to sit here and dwell for days like, what's wrong with me? No, get into meditation, 3 to 5 minutes, boom, solved. And that shit is crazy how you could do that. You guys saw me have the morning show with Nicole, who's a theta healer. I did sessions with her, same thing. She taught me how to go in and ask these questions. And if you ask these very simple questions, what's the worst that's going to happen in this, or what's the worst that can happen, you will always find it goes to being fearful, it goes to being alone. And then for me, I take this and I give it to you guys. Why? Because why not? Hi, Angie. The thing is, if you don't honor your feelings, and this is another thing I learned, K Plugs, you have to honor the hurt inside you. I was running from my hurt for so long because I felt like I shouldn't be hurt anymore. One of the biggest things I dealt with, if you guys saw the morning show from yesterday, you know that I had a daughter 27 years ago. She died at 3 weeks old. And that crushed me. At the same time of losing my daughter, I also lost my relationship, as my daughter's father happened to have a child that was born 1 month away from my first daughter. And it came out like, 2 months later after I buried my daughter, it came out, and a bunch of secret shit in it. My world crashed, like my whole world crashed. The guy that I thought I was going to be with forever, my family, and then, my child. So I literally lost everything at 15. And I was in a home that wasn't very supportive. My parents were alcoholics at the time, so we didn't do any healing or any of that shit. So when you go through things in your life and you don't get the proper grief counseling, you don't get to work through it, you don't get to honor it because people just think you're supposed to be okay. I remember trying to go back to school and people, it's like they didn't even know. So it was hard to be normal. It was hard not to talk about things. It was hard to just sit in a space like, now I'm supposed to be this normal teenager back at life. So when you don't do those things and you just start to try to carry on with life because what else are you going to do and no one else gives you direction, you get this trap shit inside you. You have to honor what you feel. I tell everyone, if you've been in a one-on-one session with me, you know that that's my spiel. It's to tell you to honor what you feel, honor those emotions. If you're sad, like people tell you, if you break up with someone, oh, get over it, you deserve better. but you're hurting. Honor that shit. You have to honor and grieve that relationship as if you just lost a fucking loved one, because you have in so many ways, right? You have to learn how to just sit in that space. Allow yourself to give yourself that. It's not fair to take it away and say, oh, because somebody else tells you you shouldn't be crying or you shouldn't be as sad as you are, but you feel it deeply and you don't honor that. That's where a lot of the shit happens. That's where we push a lot of that shit down to our soul. And then what happens? Finally, we spaz out on somebody. Finally, someone triggers us because look, we are all one step away from murdering someone. And I always say this shit. We are one step away from murdering someone. We all have it in us to murder someone. We all have it in us because if it came down to it, you would choose your life over somebody else. So we let this unhealed shit go until finally we blow the fuck up. We go off. Right. Once you start honoring your emotions, and I just went through this in January because something was coming up and I started to cry, and I didn't want to cry no more. I was like, man, I'm tired of crying. This fucking healing path has made me cry so much that I'm like, I don't want to cry no more. I was getting irritated with it. I'm not a crier. I've never been someone who's been emotional, but that's because I had to shut off my emotions so that I can survive. I had to shut off those emotions to be strong. I had to shut off those emotions. So I was never honoring myself throughout my whole entire life. So this, last month I had to go through this again, which spirit kind of let me know that no, you're okay. You just sometimes we got to purge this shit out. Sometimes it needs to come up. And that's exactly what my Oracle cards told me. It just confirmed that I needed to purge this last remnants of sadness out. I didn't need to hold on to it no more. So when it's coming up, you have to just you got to get to this space of just once you do, whoo, I remember pulling this card. It was a heart healing card. And it's just like, really, spirit? And I started crying. So yes, I'm gonna ask for my guardian angel to right. We have these beautiful gifts and we have these beautiful abilities to feel, you know, most of the time we're overthinking it. We're overthinking everything. Most people want fireworks. You want spirit to speak to you in fireworks and shit, right? You want fucking, you want the whole presence of Jesus in front of you talking to you like I'm talking to you. And a lot of times spirit doesn't talk to you like that. A lot of times spirit talks to you very subtly, very calmly, depending on your vibration also, because remember, spirit is in a higher vibration unless you get lower vibrational energy spirits. So you have to remember that if you get into vibrations energy, you can see how it works energetically. You could see you have to raise your vibration to connect. I was sent to you, boo. Better believe if you came across me, you did not come across me for no reason. Um, I always tell that to everyone. It's not a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. Some people believe in coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. I do feel like people you need, good or bad, because sometimes we need that bad shit to happen so we can fucking realize some shit, right? Good or bad, everything is going to teach you something. And it's the way that you look at it. Not that you're meant to be raped, not that you're meant, because there was an incident. I was raped when I was in my early 20s, put myself in a bad position, and, I did get raped. And I held on to that for a long time. When I did my past life regression, one of my questions I wanted to know was it anything I did in a past life? Like, was it karma? Was it something I was being paid back for? So I could understand. And my higher self said, no, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So there are instances where something really shitty can happen to you that has no karma attached to it, that you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's what you do with that afterward. I didn't handle it well. I shut off, right? I got even colder than what I was before, and it fucked with me. It took my power away. And I held it in. No one knew. Like maybe 2 or 3 people actually knew about that. I never talked about it. My kids didn't know, like no one really knew up until I want to say 2019 was like the first time I actually talked about it, where the person I was seeing, I actually said it out loud. And that was a huge step for me to even say it, that I was comfortable enough to say it, you know? Right, right, right. Um, the thing about it is we never know what is our karma and what isn't unless we look to understand it, right? Unfortunately, there are people who get a lot of bad karma, but they were shitty people in past lives. We would like to believe that everybody's innocent and nobody deserves anything, but that's not true. I've come to realize that that's not true. I can't sit here and tell you guys that it's not true. So with me, I wanted to understand, was there anything that had to do with past life bullshit, right? With my daughter's father, there's a lot of past life energy there. We basically were playing out past life shit. There's some other shit that's involved with that on a spiritual level. And you just work through it. You work through it as best as you can. I love alternate healing because, again, it's giving me answers that logically a therapist or psychologist wouldn't have been able to give me. So that's why I went the route of alternative healing. But again, you guys, you be the one to tell yourself, what do I need? It is easier to blame everyone else. Oh, my partner's the shitty person. Our relationship is shitty because of them. They don't do this, they don't do that. But most of my clients, most of my one-on-ones always comes out that it's both people that are not doing what they need to do. It's never just one person. It's never, ever, ever just one person. It always takes two. And sometimes we're not as sympathetic to the other person's needs. So most of the time you'll have women that are so pissed off the man's not paying attention to them, blah blah blah, but the man could be very stressed the fuck out. And it's like we don't care. You guys got to look at your people around you too. Do I mean, you can't force them to heal, but if you see somebody struggling, if you see somebody's going through some things, you may want to reach out. You may want to assist, right? Um your mental health is huge. But I feel like your mental health goes with your spiritual health. I don't think you could just be mentally great and your spirit is fucked up. I don't feel like it works like that. Okay. I feel like it goes hand in hand. Just like I feel like your physical body, your physical body goes hand in hand with it. If your physical body is fucked up, I guarantee you will realize when you get into the soul that there's some fucked up shit going on in the soul. When I you're a little late, boo. When I look at some of my ailments, when connected to like my chakras, even, I have a in 2017, I threw my back out. And I mean, I was in my late 30s, right? And I threw my back out. And when I went to the hospital, because I don't go to the hospital unless something's really fucking severely wrong with me, but I felt like my body, my lower half of my body had been detached. Like I couldn't get up. It took me like 45 minutes to get from my bed to the car to go to the hospital because I could barely walk. My daughter had to help like damn near carry me because I wasn't calling the ambulance, you guys. The fuck? Who am I? I'm hard headed as fuck. Anyway, so they found that I had my sacrum bone had never fully formed in the womb. There was a piece of it that had it was split, so it never really formed. There was like cartilage. You know how like your L5 and all that has the shit between it? So did my sacrum bone. Your sacrum is connected to your root chakra. Root has a lot of past life issues. Your past, your karma, your hurts, your pains, all of this shit that goes in there, right? My L5, which is right above that, also never formed, which is what? By your sacral chakra. Again, guilt, shame. karma, all of this shit, which I dealt my whole life. They say it never formed in the womb. I don't know, because it's not like I had MRIs when I was a fucking baby, right? I don't know. Is it true or not? But these things that they were showing me were things that I had my whole life, things that I was going to experience, things that for me, at the time, I did not know the spiritual side of it or the energetic side of it. It's just later on when I got into chakras and stuff, I started to piece the information together, like, oh shit. And I also had an L4 that was fucked up in my back in my 30s. It wasn't like I injured my back. I didn't fall. Nothing like that. At that same time, my body was going through this crazy shit with a fibroid that it shrunk. I mean, my body was just doing some crazy shit in 2017. I cannot even tell you guys, it was like crazy as fuck. Even like my gynecologist was just looking at me like, she was like, you're she would just smile and she would be like, you're just an experiment. Like, you're an experiment. She would look at me and be like, you're the craziest like patient I've ever had as far as my body. She had been treating me since 2013, and she was just like, I just don't know with you. She's like, I've seen some shit with you that I've never seen before, because my body has basically healed itself and it's done some tremendous healing on its own. And we're way before I was spiritual, okay? Way before I got into this shit. So now that I'm more of a believer, and of course I haven't gone back and got no MRIs, which I will though. I am though, just so I could look at the difference between who I was before to who I am now, and getting more confident in healing through meditation. If you guys ever listen to Joe Dispenza, Nicole, who's a theta healer, she's the one put me on to Joe Dispenza, and he's phenomenal. He's a fucking neuro doctor who got into fucking healing through meditation, changing through emotion and thought. And if I was like, if a neuroscience doctor like can fucking change and believe in this shit, there's got to be something to this. So it made me like dive a little bit more into it, even though I already truly believed that you can go in this space and heal. Good morning, Jesse. So I feel like biggest thing to start, if you're wondering like, where do I start? What do you want to change first? I think that's the bigger question, because healing is layers. There's no 1, 2, 3 layers. There's layers, right? Where do you want to start? That's the bigger question. You want a better relationship? You want better friendships? You want a better relationship with your children? You want to think better? You want more clarity? Do you want to be happier in your life? Do you want to just wake up and be happier? Where do you want to start? I used to literally, you guys, I used to wake up and drag out of the bed, and I used to feel like, fuck. I would have this depression or sadness. I don't know. It's a mixture of just like not wanting to get up. And I can tell you that I get up now and I look over to my window and the sun is always shining. I kind of wake up at like 6 something in the morning, and the sun is coming up, and the sky is not like what's behind me, but the sky is like very orange. And every morning I wake up, even if I go back to bed, I wake up every morning around 6 something in the morning. And I look at my window and I just sit there and lay there. Actually, I don't even get up. I just lay there and I look. And I just look at this beautiful fucking sky and I just say, thank you. I just say thank you to Creator. And I just start being very appreciative. There was a time when I would wake up feeling like I lacked or missing something. And now I just simply say thank you. That's it. And I just sit there and I thank my body. And I think, I don't even remember half the shit that I'm thinking because I'm in a sleep state. Then there's times I get downloads in the morning, like Spirit will give me crazy downloads, and I'll be telling my admin team about my downloads. But you have to start to make a conscious decision in your life. What do you want to change? And start to take corrective action. In 2021, I told myself, I'm just going to start to choose to be happy. And when you hear that before, it's like, how the fuck can you just choose to be happy? It's a fucking choice. You could choose to be miserable or you could choose to be happy. And in 2021, I consciously said, nope, I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to choose happiness today. You know how better that feels to just be in a state of happiness? To be in a state where you're just smiling, laughing, chilling, glowing. When you start to truly tap into that, you don't want to go back. And it made me realize that the depression and sadness that I felt is just something I knew. We go back to what we know. It's comfortable. We've been depressed or sad for fucking decades. We just keep going back to that energy because that's all we know. But as soon as you start switching over, you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute. This feels good over here. Kind of scary, but it feels good. So it was a decision. And then I just kept making that decision more and more until the end of the 2021. I was just like, no, there's no going back. No going back. Because I do believe we are co-creators in this life. And you have the opportunity to change your life to what you want. In a sense, you know, you have to be realistic, but don't ever put yourself down to say what you can't do. That's everybody else's fears, right? Don't sit in that shit of what people think you can't do. You can create a really exciting, loving, balanced life should you want to, but you got to do the work. It's not just going to fall into your lap. You know, shit, Moses ain't going to come and part the fucking, sky for you. You have to do some work. And what spirit does is it assists us in our life, right? They do. They've shown me. I can't sit here and say spirit hasn't shown me. They have every fucking time. I've been good. I retired from my career in 2020 and I've been really good. And all I keep doing is going and listening and surrendering to the bigger plan, you know? And I always ask, Spirit, show me where I need to be. Show me what I need to know. And I guarantee you, Spirit is always showing me, putting shit in my lap. Here goes this. All right. Here goes this. Here goes this. Do this. If you set the intentions, you will always get. Spirit has always sent me some amazing healers. Every time I need someone, because look, I need people too. I'm not all perfect where I don't need nobody. And every time Spirit shows me and brings a phenomenal fucking healer. I've worked with some very phenomenal ladies, healers, that are amazing at what they do. Hell yeah, raise your vibration, your frequency. Yeah, there are levels. If you ever listen to the meditations on like YouTube and they have hertz, they have those frequency hertz 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000. Of course, the higher you go, the better. Love or joy is one that love is actually the highest frequency you could get to. But happiness is a high frequency. Sadness isn't. Anger isn't. Those are all low vibrations. You got to ask yourself, what am I so angry at? When I started to ask myself, why am I still so angry? Well, I was angry at the fact that my daughter was taken from me because I felt like she was taken from me, right? I was still angry at the fact that my dad was gone. My dad, there was a part when he died, I was like, man, fuck. I was angry at him. Why did you choose what you chose? Because now you won't be here for your grandkids. Now you won't be able to walk me down the aisle if I was to get married, because I was talking shit. If I was to get married, you're not even here. So fuck it. you know, you have to work through your anger. Why are you so fucking pissed off? I was angry at my mom for shit. Angry at myself. Biggest person I was angry at was me. All the shit that I did, all the fucked up choices I did, there was times I went through very dark spaces, especially after my daughter died. I did a lot of dumb shit. I was like drinking, smoking weed. I was in a very bad place, didn't give a shit. But I didn't die. And when you don't die and you do stupid shit, right? Then you look back and you're like, fuck. And a lot of people just did not help. They were like, damn, no one was like, man, let's offer her some help. I just got talked about. You just get talked about, you get labeled. But no one really looks like, what's this person going through? Why is this person doing what they're doing, right? So you look back at these spaces of a lot of bad decisions and you're like, damn, I was in a very bad place. And it's not an excuse. I'm accountable for it. It's not an excuse just because I was in a bad place to make some of the shitty choices I did, right? But you do have to work through your guilt and your anger to self, right? And you just got to start doing better. How can I do better in my life? How can I respect myself more? And that's one of the things I had to realize because I lost respect for myself in my teens. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize what that was. I didn't realize that you could lose respect for yourself in that way. And that's why we treat our bodies like shit. That's why we drink or we do drugs or we have like crazy sex with different partners. It's because we've lost respect for ourselves. And then I was a self sabotager. I sabotaged everything. I sabotaged anybody who came that remotely seemed like maybe a decent human. I'd sabotage that shit because I didn't want no one getting close to me. So on some level, you have to start looking at your behavior. Pick apart your behavior. Is it healthy or is it bullshit? Are you telling yourself the bullshit lies every day that you're okay and you know you're not? Are you telling yourself, you've done everything you can, but you haven't? Those are the things that you have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And believe me, when you do get very honest with yourself, then you could take a step back and start doing the true healing, the real healing, the deep healing. I did a lot of shit in 2020, but 2020 was just like the stepping stone to 2021. 2021, I had some major uh, realizations in 2021. And respecting myself was a big one that came out for me in 2021 on all levels. And I mean, I'm not a person who's ever, like, especially since my younger years, dealt with disrespect. There was a time where I got to my early 30s, it was just I started cutting people off. But in other ways, I still was disrespecting myself and I didn't even realize it. So you start to just, you know, those layers, take those layers off. But if again, there's no wrong or right to this. If you truly feel like you don't want to heal or you don't need to heal, then hey, don't heal. But I will tell you, if your life is not what you want it to be, if your life is still misery, not that life won't have ups and downs. Believe me, it will still have ups and downs. You will still have shit that happens out of nowhere. But if you're still sitting in a very depressive, sad space, if you still feel like the only thing you see in people is their flaws and you don't see nothing special about people around you, if no one's inspiring you and no one's uplifting you, then you got to look inside. What's going on with you that you don't see shit? You don't see the beauty in anything. All you see is the negativity. There's these cues that our mind and our body does to let us know that we're in some pretty fucked up spaces. It is up to us to acknowledge that and start to make some changes, make some changes and grow. But you have to be accountable for yourself. It's not everybody else. It's not my dad's fault. It's not my mom's fault that I, had some shitty ways about me. No, it's not nobody's fault. It's not the grief. It's not the trauma. None of that. I chose to stay in that energy. I chose to not get help. I chose to not move forward in a healthy way, because we've all moved forward. We all are still living, surviving, most of us, right? We're not thriving. That's where you have to take that step back. And depression is real. I suffered with depression my whole fucking life. And the only thing I did is I was very good at it. Like, I was very good at working around it. And I was very good at still getting my ass up and taking my ass to work, because I watched a parent who struggled with depression that didn't get up to go to work. So I felt like shit. Nope, I'm still going to get up and take my ass to work. You know, not that that was healthier. So my life is completely different, where I'm choosing love. And I mean, in my conversations, I'm choosing loving words instead of shitty words. I'm choosing, instead of to point out what someone does wrong all the time, I'm choosing to be more supportive. I'm choosing to be more uplifting. I'm choosing, when someone irritates me, I'm choosing to sit back and work through it and understand, why is this person irritating me right now? Why do I feel irritated with this person instead of lashing out on this person? I'm choosing to talk more about what's going on and how I feel and listen to how somebody else is feeling versus just condemning them to whatever fucking, thing I believe in the moment. I'm choosing to be accountable for myself and look in the mirror and say, um, how can I do better today? And how can I help people every day? That is my thing. How many people can I help today? And I feel like even if you, doesn't matter if you think you're a healer or not, let me tell you, talking to someone, your conversation may be just the conversation that they needed to hear to give them that boost of confidence or that, something that they needed to know you know, getting up and just smiling at people. It's crazy at first when I started doing that, just smiling to random people because I have a very like resting bitch face, right? And at first it was very uncomfortable to just be like smiling at random strangers and shit, right? But it's cool as fuck. So go out there and just smile at some people. Some people might look at you like you're weird. It's okay. You know, um, in the beginning of my path, Sakori, Spirit was pushing me to come on Facebook. And I didn't realize why. I didn't understand it, right? Um, because I was doing, you guys, I started on my YouTube. I was a YouTube tarot reader, right? And I didn't know why I was being pushed to Facebook. I didn't understand it. And I definitely didn't understand the lives because I was like, oh, I don't want to be live. I didn't even want people to see me. You guys used to see my hands and shit, hands and cards. Um, but one of the things is so that I can talk about what I've been through, and through my experience other people could understand to either grow or talk about it or get into a space of healing. I didn't understand that at the time, so I would just be talking about shit, talking about life, and that's how that came about, is understanding. And people would be like, thank you so much because what you went through helped, or this, that, and the third. And it was like, oh shit, damn, I didn't realize that. Your experiences are not just, a lot of you guys think that your experiences are just shit you've been through. But there's so many other people that think they're alone with this until you're sitting listening to someone who's been through what you've been through. Even though people get raped, even though people get molested, when you hear someone talk about it, you're like, oh shit, I've been there. And it's different. And it helps you in some certain way just hearing it. So again, I'm gonna have more healing circles in March. You guys, hopefully you'll pass it around. You'll be there. I'm gonna make an event. Definitely take advantage of the guides in the guides in the group. So you see. So just remember, I believe in healing. Not everybody does, but I do. Like I said, and I watch my mom who's in her 70s and just she's living a very miserable life, and she doesn't think she needs to do anything, and she's miserable, and I feel sorry for her. I really do. I feel sorry for her because I feel like that's going to be her life because she doesn't see that she can make changes. Everything is everybody else still. And I hope some of you guys realize and you keep going on your healing paths. And if you guys need me, you know where to book me, right? Or come listen, vibe with me. Um, I think healing is crucial. And I think if you can just see that every day you're pulling yourself out of this very hurtful, dark pit of shit, you can do anything that you want in life. And you just have to see that in yourself. And it might take you a while, but you can get there. There was a time where I didn't think I had any value, like real shit. I didn't think I had any value. And if you look and ask yourself, do you have value in yourself? Whew, that shit is deep. Do you have any value? There's a time where I didn't think I brought anything to the table. I didn't have value. I have found my worth in so many ways that I realize that even my harsh as experiences are valuable in some way to others in some way. That's where you start to change. You have to understand that these are things that have happened, they're hurtful spaces, but they are valuable in so many ways. And if you can do that, you can grow. You can grow.